Hello, and once again, we are live with the Modern Mystery School UK and EU podcast YouTube channel. Yes, it's that time again where we are with our favourite astrologer, Aleks. How are you?
I am wonderful. Happy September, everybody.
I know, we were just saying, how is it September already? But we have lots to discuss because you're going to hopefully shed a little bit of light. Is there a little pun there? On the total.
We'll be shedding some light.
And we're going to be talking about total lunar eclipse in Pisces. Tell us, Aleks, please explain, what does this mean in our everyday life? Is it relevant? Is it not? Should we care?
Well, absolutely. But I have to say, after that astrological dad joke, I'm a little stunned.
I still got something left up, tricks up my sleeve. There you go.
Celestial humor, right? Very mercurial. Oh my gosh. Well, on September 7th, which is Sunday, there's going to be a total lunar eclipse in Pisces. And in case anybody is interested in watching, pretty much everyone except North and South America are going to get to see the eclipse to some degree. Some areas will only get what's called the penumbral eclipse, where part of it appears to darken, and others will have a total lunar eclipse visible to them. And so you can absolutely get out there and watch it in the skies if you're interested. Yeah. So this lunar eclipse is in Pisces, and lunar eclipses are all about pulling the skeletons of the internal world out of the closet. And so I liken lunar eclipses to being a time where the doors to the subconscious get opened and you can bring something out to light so that you can start to tackle and work on deeper emotional issues. And what I particularly like about this upcoming total lunar eclipse is that it's in Pisces. And Pisces is very much connected to Jesus the Christ, who is, in esoteric astrology, he is the world savior, but he is also the embodiment of God's love, which is that healing force that is very often called the agape, God's love, and the love that heals and restores wholeness. And so this particular lunar eclipse is a really good time to let go of some of the deeper traumas or strongly held memories or events in life that have caused suffering, actually. And so if you're ready to do some deep releasing, this is your month.
I think I hear a lot of people saying, yes, I'm ready.
Yeah, well, the rest of this year, there's been a lot of tension. And so I think that people are kind of ready to just kind of breathe and let it go. And suffering is an interesting concept, because if we look at the original meaning of the word, it meant to undergo something, usually a process, some form of transformation, or building up to something. And so if you were suffering, it meant that there was something you were going to become on the other side. But when we look at that word in our modern times, suffering means that you're kind of stuck and stagnant where you are, right? There's no journey. There's no transformation. There's no evolution. And so part of what this total eclipse, lunar eclipse in Pisces is trying to do is to help restore some of the health and original integrity to what suffering actually meant. And so for those of you who want to work consciously with the Pisces total lunar eclipse, it's actually time to look at where you allow suffering to exist in your life. And to make sure that it's not what Sovereign Ipsissimus Dave would call needless suffering or pointless suffering, that there's something on the other side of it, right? And this is actually one of the principles that he talks about in Principles for the Warrior of Light. And so that's actually a really good chapter. And so for those of you who want to work more deeply with this, I definitely recommend that book and reading the chapter about suffering and needless suffering.
100%. It's really important because we see people going down that spiral, don't we? And somehow they stay there.
They stay there. And, you know, if we look at Jesus the Christ, because he is that ultimate embodiment of the Pisces energy, he didn't suffer for nothing. There was a purpose to him undergoing, you know, those incredibly painful moments on the cross. I mean, heaven forbid, I never want to experience anything like that, and I never want anyone else to. But he understood there was a purpose to it, and that purpose was worth it. And so if you have been feeling like you have been suffering, you know, or if you've been suffering quietly, this total eclipse in Pisces is going to call that forward or draw that to your attention. And one of the first things that you have to acknowledge is that perhaps there is a purpose to that suffering. And you have to remind yourself that that purpose is worth it.
It's like in the physical world, isn't it? We are accustomed to that because if we go to the gym or we train for a marathon or something like that, you know, that we kind of understand there has to be that kind of point at which we're going to push through the pain barrier, and it's like we're going to get to something else on the other side. But we tend to think that energetically that doesn't exist, but of course it exists. If it's in the physical, then it's in an energetic field as well. So I often see that people get up to that point and then they stop and they go, oh, you know. So yeah, that's really interesting.
They forget about their purpose.
Yeah.
And so, you know, if this concept of suffering is really standing out to you, you know, over basically the next 6 months, because this is the theme for the next 6 months that this lunar eclipse is setting. And so if that theme of suffering or self-pity, feeling sorry for yourself is starting to come through, it could be that perhaps you are forgetting about your purpose, in which case I would absolutely recommend getting another life activation, bringing yourself back in tune with your purpose, connection to your higher self. And also there's a really amazing healing from the Sacred Geometry series, the Fire Soul activation. And that one also reconnects you to your purpose and brings it closer to your field of vision so that you have that reminder. Because if you're suffering without purpose, yes, it's terrible, it's horrible. Of course you're not going to like life. But if you remember that what you are doing holds a greater purpose, then it's not suffering anymore.
100%. Love that. I love that as well as, you know, the tools that we have as initiates and non-initiates, because you don't have to be an initiate to have life activation, fire salt. I mean, you know, we can. So these are really, really important top tips that you're giving out here because it is going to be that driving force to push you through.
Yeah, as initiates, purpose is so important. It is one of our primary reference points in this world. You know, Sovereign Ipsissimus Dave talks about reference points all the time when he teaches, you know, the Hermetic wisdom classes. And without reference points and specifically without purpose, then suffering is, what's the word that I'm looking for here? Stagnation. And in stagnation, there's only misery. And so, you know, if you are undergoing some unnecessary suffering, well, maybe it will give you the option to move forward in life. But maybe you also just need a reminder of your purpose, which is many things: family, personal purpose, spiritual growth. All of these pieces encompass your personal purpose. And so sometimes you just need a reminder and to be re-anchored to that reference point so that you can make sense of everything happening and not feel lost and stagnant.
I love that. Thank you so much. So it's a big 6 months coming up then.
It is a big 6 months coming up. And can you imagine what it would feel like to not feel like your own suffering is pointless?
Yeah, amazing.
To feel like there's something greater on the other side of it. And to emerge healed, more whole, more encompassed and in alignment with your own personal purpose and having more harmony. That's everything that is possible with this eclipse. And the cool thing is that 2 weeks later, on September 21st, we also have a solar eclipse happening. And so where you're really going to see these effects show up is going to be in family, personal health, and also in work or your personal mission. And so this is where all the healing that you do in relation to this Christ energy and the concept of suffering and reorienting it to purpose is going to show up in those areas. And so I don't think there isn't anyone here who isn't ready for better health, better family relationships, and better career prospects.
Well, exactly. Everybody. And I think, what I, for this particular 6 months, I know, well, for everything, but, initiation, if you haven't had initiation yet, that is going to be key to have those daily tools to help and support you daily, bringing that light, the sanctuary meditation, all those things.
Absolutely. There is so much you learn in Empower Thyself about purpose, personal purpose, but also purpose as human beings. And it helps put all of our life experiences into perspective. And then, especially on that second day, when we explore the concepts of the negative ego and how it takes our past, our previous experiences, our traumas, and uses them against us to frame things in our lives in negative ways. The key takeaways from that class, I mean, there's so many, but it is absolutely such an amazing tool to start elevating yourself so that everything you do in life is building to the next step, to growth, to joy, to purpose.
We love it. Thank you so much. Thank you. I know there's lots more. I'm at that time.
There's tons.
Time whizzes by. So if you want to find out more, if you want to see how that relates to you, your own chart, then get in touch with Aleks. She'll be able to help you, support you, and any of those healings that you think, oh yeah, maybe I'd like one of those. Get in touch with us. We will put you in touch with the nearest practitioner to you. We have people in over 40, 50 countries that can do, those healing sessions. So please reach out.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. And good night, everybody. And thank you again, Aleks. We know we're going to be seeing you again soon. So thank you again.
Absolutely. Happy eclipsing, everyone.
Yes. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.